Well, hey there. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be using this fine set of Xenicolors. Now, I have the 160 set, but to be honest, I haven't swatched those yet. But that's okay. That's alright. We're going to have a lot of fun with this set right here. So sit back, relax, and join me, Mr. Melodious, as we go on this coloring adventure. Now, what we have here is another suggestion by my Facebook followers. One of them said snow leopard, and the other one said popcorn. So I decided to draw me a little popcorn cat. How could I not? This is like two of my favorite things rolled up in one. Now what you see me doing right here is coloring all the little spots black. Now the reason I didn't make them black to begin with is because I wanted to give you an option to make those any color you wanted to. You could make him a little blue leopard kitty, and you could add those spots dark blue and maybe his fur is light blue, but for now, I'm just gonna make him a regular little snow leopard. That's right. What I'm using here is the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. It's great because it has a multitude of options to use. So right now, I'm using the brush tip. It's great for getting into all those tiny little areas and crevices. So anytime I need to get into detailed work like this, I just grab that brush tip. It's so nice. And now because my little kitty is going to be mostly black and white, I don't want to leave any of those areas untouched because that might look like I forgot to color them. So what I'm doing is getting the lightest gray I have, and I'm just going to touch him up a little here, a little there, that's right. I'm going to get into all those little dark spots in the background. This is just going to make him look so much more complete. Plus, it's going to make him happy. You know, I got one kitty that when you pet him on the head, he pulls away. But I got another one that he pushes into it. I guess all kitties are different like that. Now I'm going to go back into it with a darker gray. Now this is going to give you a real good gradient. When blending it, it's going to go from that dark to that light gray seamlessly. And I know it looks real messy, but remember, we are up really close. When we get our blender and go into it, it's going to soften this whole thing up. And we all like a really soft kitty cat. Oh, we found the spot now. This little kitty loves some ear scratching. Now, if I was going to push all that gray and have it fade into a white, would I use an aggressive blender? Or maybe a softer blender? That's right. I'm going to use an aggressive blender. It's perfect for pushing that gray and making it fade ever so softly into the white, giving him the perfect coat. Yeah. And here we are. We're just taking our time, getting each of these little spots. We gotta take out all those little pencil marks. Turn him into a soft little kitty. Look at that, making him so happy. And once we back out, look at him. Looks like a little kitty plushie. Let's give him a little scratchy scratch on the head. Yeah, he likes that. Let me now share with you the secret of making perfect popcorn. Butter. That's right. Find that perfect butter yellow. Put it on real thick like. Make it look good. Mmm, so good. What you're seeing here is 3 colors. I got a really light cream for the main part of the popcorn. Then I got your basic yellow, and that's the butter. And then I got like a dark ochre, and I'm using this to really pop out some of the foreground pieces. Just kind of work it in, go back and forth, and eventually you'll have yourself a delicious box of popcorn too. Oop, that's what happens when we don't wipe our lids off. Sometimes we put those little black marks on our paper. But that's alright. That's why God made erasers. Ain't none of us perfect. Couple little swirls, we'll pull that right out of there. Look at that now. We're alright. We're gonna be alright. Now, for the popcorn kernels, I figured we can go into it dark, like with maybe a burnt ochre or maybe a light umber. Any of those colors should work as long as it's different enough from the rest of the popcorn. It should really give it that realistic look. I don't know how I missed it, but I'm just noticing the spots on the side of his face are still white. So I need to get those or it's going to drive me crazy. And now that I'm seeing that, I'm also seeing these little white areas on his paw. So I'm just going to get those too. Yeah, that's much better. Now, anytime I can, I try my best to leave all the red till last. Red's one of those colors that is just messy. Your hand goes in there, and next thing you know, you got little red marks all over your paper. And when we're dealing with a little white kitty cat, he don't want no red marks all over his fur. We want a happy little kitty. Isn't that right? And again, anytime you see me pushing that gray into a white, I'm going to use my most aggressive blender. But for these reds, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm using the Statler blender. And what's nice about that is it's somewhere in between your most aggressive and your mid-range. It's a great way to blend those colors, especially when they're thick like this, without lightening them up too much. Look at that blender just going to work. I tell you, it is a beautiful thing. When it comes down to it, I'm just using these 3 reds. I got my base red, my burgundy, and a pink. And I'm just going to bring them all together. Now, if I was using highlights, then I might go with a lighter blender, like the Caran d'Ache. But in this case, I just want them to melt together oh so nice. Putting the blush on his cheek, that's one of my favorite parts. I think 'cause it makes him happy. So I usually leave it to last. It's kind of like my dessert. You know, I said at the beginning of this video, I had the 160 set of Xenicolor, but I wasn't going to use them. I'm just going to use my 72. Well, I lied. Apparently the 72 doesn't have this nice powder blue, so I had to go to that set and open it up. I really like this blue. It's a shame they don't have it in the smaller set. Now, if ever there was a happy accident, this was it. I meant to grab that neon green, but I didn't. I grabbed the grass green. So now I gotta mix these two together. But the magic part happens when I go to blend it. Watch this. Now, if I wouldn't have added that grass green to it, I wouldn't have got that real nice look. I sure do like the way these blues and greens look coming together. So nice. And remember now, anytime you're using alcohol like this, it's gonna get dark on the paper and make it see through. But don't worry, when it dries up, and it will dry up, all it's gonna do is leave you with a beautifully blended background. Oh my goodness, look at this. Now that is one happy kitty. Now, while I clean up my messy mess over here, let me just tell y'all, I am so glad y'all joined me. Y'all gave me one beautiful day. And until next time, y'all just remember, happiness is the best color.